Okay, that's a good question. Thank you so much for that, TikTok. Tony says, I'm very good at NIST, trying to branch out to other frameworks. This is your lucky day, Mr. Tony, because let me tell you, if you're very good at NIST, then you're going to be very good at CIS controls. So what I was going through, if you missed it, as I was mapping the CIS controls directly to controls in the NIST family. For example, like one of the ones we started off with was baseline security controls, configuration management. So as CM8 is for system component inventory, which means that we have to document the inventory that we have, like making sure all of our assets, our devices are all in some sort of inventory, whether it be an automated system that's a database, or if we're writing it old school, writing it by hand. We have to have some sort of an inventory. Obviously, that's not possible. That's not practical with a large system environment, but I've seen people do it with a spreadsheet, and it's horrible to do that, but it still would qualify as meaning a detailed enterprise asset inventory. But look at this. If you know that, if you NIST CM8, you also know CIS 1.1 in particular. So it's also talking about the same thing. We have to make sure that we have an established, the organization establishes and maintains a detailed enterprise asset inventory, just like CM8. Yeah, and it breaks down in actually greater detail, if you ask me, what kinds of things an organization should have. So if CIS controls NIST 800, a large percent, I would say NIST is way more comprehensive. It covers way more ground. That's for sure. So if NIST, actually, you have an advantage over CIS controls. You actually have an advantage over ISO 27001 controls, because there's 1,000 controls in NIST. NIST is very comprehensive, so much so that one thing I realized, this is crazy, it's going to blow your mind, Tony, but there's a lot of other countries that copy the NIST. Like, I'm talking about, they use the NIST, which I thought it was only the US that uses it, but Australia uses the NIST. Canada, some parts of the government in Canada they refer to NIST. If you read their documentation, they'll be cross-referencing the NIST. That's how comprehensive the NIST 800 is. It's because it's over 1,000 controls. The controls are broken up to only 18, 20, or 20 families, whatever. But those controls break down into hundreds and hundreds of controls, and those hundreds of controls will have what's called a security enhancement, which are counted as a separate control. So there's over 1,000 controls. It's the most comprehensive. So if you know this one, man, you can nail PCI DSS. It's not even close. You can nail HIPAA. A lot of stuff they talk about. Now, HIPAA is a little bit different because they talk specifically about healthcare information, and there's some terminology you have to learn. But even Sarbanes-Oxley, which is for financial sector, all of these are security control. They have security controls, and they may call them something different, but they're all security controls. They're security features that you put on an information system. They're security features you put on your phone. Like, they have controls specifically for phones, anything that's a computer.